Why visit abandoned places? In a world that's always moving forward, there's something magnetic about stepping into a space that's been left behind. Abandoned places are like windows to forgotten histories. In these forgotten places we can find stories of lives once lived. But nature is the true owner of everything, and it will reclaim everything with time. I have visited many abandoned places over the last years and started to wonder which ones did I like the most and which ones would end up in my top 5. So these are my top 5 abandoned places that I have visited. Watch till the end to see a bonus location. Located at the edge of a volcanic crater in Azores Islands, Portugal, on the largest island, São Miguel, lies an abandoned 5-star hotel. Monte Palace Hotel is located near Sete Cidades. It's right next to the main road from Ponte Delgada, and it's impossible to miss. The hotel was opened in 1989 and had a huge debt already, but it managed to get the help from the government. The hotel had 5 floors with 88 rooms, including a presidential suite and many luxury rooms. There were also 2 restaurants, 3 conference rooms, a hairdresser, a bank and a nightclub. More than 100 people worked in the hotel. The hotel closed only 18 months after opening, as it was losing money every month. After closing, a guard with his dogs looked after the hotel for 20 years to avoid vandalism, but in 2011 he was not getting paid anymore and left. The locals began to steal everything, even the lift. Now all that's left is just the concrete walls, the roof and floors. Government also removed all the glass to avoid injuring someone. Why didn't the hotel idea work? It would probably work better these days, as back then Azores wasn't a popular destination, and the roads to get there wasn't that good as now. "240 kilometers from the capital Riga, you can find ruins of drainage pipe factory that closed down in 1992. The factory was operational from the 70s and was built here as there were huge clay deposits in Kuprava. Bricks were also produced here. 6 blockhouses were built to house all the workers who arrived from all over Soviet Union. After the collapse of Soviet Union, the production was not needed anymore, and the factory was closed. Most of the people have left now, or commute to the nearby Viljaka or Balvi, which is 15 and 20 kilometers away. This is the most impressive abandoned place I have visited in Latvia. The size of the factory is huge. Huge revels of clay and bricks can be found inside the factory now.
I didn't expect such a huge rubble inside there.
The nature is taking over, and a small forest is starting to grow on the roof of the factory. The next destination takes us to Nagasaki, Japan. We are going to Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island. The only way to get there is by booking a tour in advance, and you can only do it if the weather is good. The boat cannot dock if the waves are too big and just goes around the island in that case. Or in the worst case scenario, the trip is cancelled completely. In 1890, Mitsubishi bought inhabited island to mine coal from undersea tunnels. The island's population grew to more than 5,000 at its peak in 1959. In 1974, with the coal reserves near depletion, the mine was closed, and all the residents left soon after, leaving the island abandoned for 3 decades. In 2000s, an interest in the island grew, and it was opened for tourism in 2009. In 2012, James Bond movie Skyfall was shot here. In 2015, the island became part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Japan and South Korea negotiated a deal, but Korea would not object to that, while Japan would cover the history of forced labor on the island. But the forced labor was never acknowledged by Japan, and it's not mentioned in the tour. During the Second World War, thousands of South Koreans and Chinese were brought here and forced to work in the mines, where many of them died. They were calling this island the Prison Island or the Hell Island. You can only walk in designated path together with other visitors and the guides. The path leads to the southern part of the island with no buildings. Even though some of the buildings have been reinforced and made safer, they are still in bad condition, so you cannot go close to them. The boat sails around the island, so you can see it from all angles. It really looks like a battleship island from the distance. This is not just an abandoned place or a building, but it's a whole town. Around 20 abandoned sanatoriums can be found here. Some of them are not completely abandoned and refugees live there. And some are being renovated by the government and you can't access them. The town was very popular during the Soviet times and people came here from all over the Soviet Union. It was one of Stalin's favorite vacation spots. You would need to spend 3 or 4 days to visit all the abandoned places in this town. The architecture and details of some sanatoriums are really impressive. The abandoned places are within a walkable distance, but of course getting around with a car would be faster, and you can manage to see more in one day. There are not many restrictions or warnings, and some places are in bad condition, so you have to be careful when exploring these ruins. Ikeshima is another island in Nagasaki Prefecture. It's less known than Gunkanjima, but you can go there on your own and explore it freely. And that's why it's a clear winner for me. There's a coal mine operating from 1959 till its closure in 2001. It is not completely abandoned, as there are still people living there, mostly around the port area, and mostly retired miners and their relatives. There are around 60 abandoned residential buildings covered in vegetation, and it feels like walking in a post-apocalyptic world. The mine is not accessible, but you can book a tour, which is only in Japanese. Decided to just explore the island this time, but who knows, maybe next time a tour would be a good idea. Ikeshima is home to many cats who live here and greet the visitors. So bring a snack for them and they will show you around. There's another interesting location that didn't quite make the top 5. This was a resort for the Riga Automotive Factory, or RAF, during the Soviet times. This building even had a small pool. In the center of the village there is a manor. The workers who work in the manor live in these buildings. But times change and some places become abandoned. We have a chance to see them before they disappear forever.